welcome back to this share space on YouTube, Natural Connection with the Shaman. I am your host, Shaman Odin Grey Wolf, and I'm here live with Jamie Jette again. Is this our third consecutive or is this our fourth?
Um, I think our third.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me and Cheryl were talking about
I haven't been counting.
that. Yeah, me neither. I
Oh,
thought this was our fourth. But anyways, welcome back to our channel, and today we're just gonna kind of go with the flow, see what comes up, and Jamie has some interesting topics.
um, everybody knows not to call during our live, but they're just so hungry for John's information. Anyway, so we're just going to flow with it. Is that what you said?
Yeah, whatever. So let's just start about how was your Sunday?
Oh, it was great. We had a really great meeting. A lot of things unfolded. Um, uh, Uniting Wellness is now Bob's created an umbrella so that we're going to have Toad's pens. We're going to have Uniting Wellness is the anchor, and then the new website they're working on is Anura Labs. So yeah, there's a lot of excitement. It was really nice. I went to a new thing that's been hungry. I really, really enjoyed this gentleman a couple of years ago when he came to the center over on Rancho. His name is Dr. Sai, and he's an oracle, a doctor. He's a singer, but there's something that he spoke my same language. Well, a lot of our friends have been going, and I said, Bob, I really want to go. So we went, and I just embraced everything, closed my eyes, and it was a day of self love. I didn't have to be on. I didn't have to do anything. I just got to receive. So it was a gentle reminder that it is really, really important to fill my love pitcher so that I can keep sharing what fills me so that perhaps it can enlighten others. So, how about your Sunday?
Mine was, I mean, aside waiting for a package, it was pretty fun. I got to tap into a deep dive. Um, I know how algorithms work. So I know when a cell phone hears our conversation that it just takes that and runs to any programs or apps we have on there. And I was talking with a friend of mine and Cheryl's about she's a behavioral therapist and she works with children. And so we got into the theme of parroting, how everybody you talk to can parrot back instead of having a real conversation. They just parrot. Well, after that, it was like all over on Sunday. All over everything I was trying to do was parroting this and that, Facebook, blah blah blah. So I just turned off all devices, kind of went quiet, walked around my neighborhood, waiting for my package, and did some crafts. And but deep diving into parroting, it kind of opened a little portal where it started to open a portal about the Matrix, like how people used to build entire skyscrapers in the ancient times to be like, wow, look what we did. And they were all extravagant and out of the ordinary, and how everything today is just straight, dry grid pattern. And it was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. But it was a relaxing Sunday. So I was really interested in that. What you said
Good.
about filling your love cup, though, is really important. We need those days to like tune out. And I think that Sunday, like you said, it did give me a good day to go within and just be myself. Because without that, we are useless.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't feel like I was used. I thought I was doing a little bit too much for others, but I'm finding I'm making time. I'm doing my singing bowls a little bit more. Um, I'm I'm going out and I'm just allowing. Bob calls it when you want to travel with somebody. When you travel by yourself, You don't have to ask, do you want to go left or do you want to go right? So here I've been practicing the last few weeks. I'm just going to go right if I want to, and I'm going to go left if I want to. And I don't mean any harm towards Bob. I'm just not going to ask. I'm just being free spirit, and I'm not being judged, which is really, really, um, uh, it's so important for myself, but it's a sense of freedom. Hi, Cheryl. Yes. And so anyway, the just little things. It's really like you mentioned, I think before we started about structure, and it's really important because is today the new moon? When's the new moon? I think
Today,
today. Okay.
today,
They said it's really, really important to set your intentions, even write them out, put them into a fire and let them go out into the universe. But I got to thinking today is a good day to um, like this gentleman on Sunday, plant the seeds, plant the seeds within the ground. And he told a lovely story about watching his friends plant seeds. And when you plant the seeds, you don't dig them up. You don't see how they're doing.
no,
You just, that's where the trust element of existence is, where you just say, okay, this is something I would like to see birthed or something to come to fruition, whether it an acorn, whether it a Mexican bird of paradise, whether it's an agave plant. You
yeah,
just put it in the ground. And then you know that all that nutrients and everything that it needs in the darkness.
mm,
I want to reiterate that in the darkness is where the trans transmutation, the transmutation of that hard shell or seed or idea coming to fruition. So I really, I've been doing a lot of in the darkness work ever since my son took his own life. And let me tell you, it's not scary.
no,
It's just, it's just different in the dark, but there's a lot that can be seen in the dark. You think of all the different creatures on this amazing planet that, like cats, how do they have these eyes and they have this sight they see in the dark underneath the ocean floor. It's in the dark, and yet they're able to flow with it. So allowing myself to flow in that period of extreme darkness, I saw things differently. I saw things there's a light in the darkness, if I can express it like that. Uh,
absolutely. Well,
yeah.
it's an old Buddhist practice to go. They used to go into caves, but now in modern times they just go into dark rooms. And if you spend your time in pitch black in a room where there's actually obstruction, there's like tables and counters, and you start learning to walk around the room by your senses, and then you sit and meditate, awareness meditation. The darkness is where we learn to exist, and like you said, flow. It's learned where we use our senses because we can't see. Just like a blind person, imagine how empathic blind people are and how supersonic hearing they are because they have to, they can't see. There is nothing scary in the darkness. By the
Yeah.
way,
Nothing.
hello, Willow Emerson.
Hi there.
So,
So
what's the time? Oh, yeah, go
with
ahead.
with the darkness, it's kind of cool to come out of it now, and and being out of it, my sight is super clear. And I keep telling everyone, well, my husband and my friends, my sight, once I see, I can't unsee. And it's really, I think a lot of it had to do with going in through that journey of, there's all kinds of names I don't know that it was the dark night of the soul, because let me tell you, it was about I call it 5 years of a grief coma. But anyway, coming out of it now, I see things that I never thought I could see. And the way everything is so magnificent, with friends and situations. And now with all this new galactic stuff that's coming on our path, that it's amazing how there's a lot of us still um, in the shadows with that. um, but like we were talking, it's easier now to we're 2025. Like I told you earlier, I'm not going to get burned at the stake like
No,
I probably did in the 1640s, but I'm not going to get burnt of what I know that I know that I know. And there is so much all around us. And like I've said, I think at the very first time we met, if we humans think that are we that narcissistic that we think we're the only entities on in the universe? No, no,
right?
no. Just look up. 5 miles up is the stars. I mean, wow,
Yeah,
it's amazing. So yeah, I'm really opening to the new site. Um, I remember you gave me my first oracle cards, and it really just opened up everything for me. So anybody who doesn't listen to John, pay attention because he's got a ton of them.
yeah,
And these are like little messages, I think, that the invisible, um, our team, our council, um, whatever you're comfortable in getting to know, it has opened up a gateway for me. And I think that's how, thanks to these cards, and then meeting Katie, I think that's how Stargate Sound Medicine was birthed. It was thanks to these cards. Something kept coming up, something kept coming up. And then all of a sudden, um, I, some people call it channeling. I'm still getting used to what is happening to me. But yes, the messages were huge. And it was it was as if I said I said okay. And so the more I did these cards, the more the messages came. So I think that's why I really like what you're doing with the oracle cards and the Goetia and the runes. There's so many things that are so old that kind of got, and I'm sure it was a patriarchal from the Romans and the Spartans and even the Spanish pushing all that aside for the control. But these are truly tools. It's like how, the hammer, you couldn't get rid of the hammer, but interesting how they got rid of the oracle cards. And now they're coming back because the
yeah,
truth is like gravity. The truth is like love. It is a law. You cannot, I mean, my mama used to say, I know I've said it before on your show, is that 10 minutes, 10 months, or 10 years, the truth always prevails. So instead of trying to dig up the seed, we just free fall and trust that
watch
we
it grow.
are.
And it starts to grow. So the more we trust, it's funny you mentioned that he was talking about planting the seeds on Sunday, because to the Druid lunar path, Sunday would have been the death moon, which the death moon is when we plant seeds in the ground. Because come new moon, we're in incubation, where, like, if you were to germinate seeds right now, you would have planted them on Sunday, and then today you would have covered them with a plastic dome to let the heat germinate the seeds so that they can pop. And all of that kind of, he just fell right in line with that. That's the one thing I noticed the more we work with these oracle cards, is you just fall right in line with everything. And a lot of my dreams the last 4 or 5 days have had aliens coming through tablet screens and talking to me, and they're letting me know that yes, they are talking to us and helping guide us through things. And it's just, I don't see nothing negative about them. Whereas, like, in the past, I think they made all them alien movies about them taking over the world and all that to scare us from the actual connection we have with our star families. Because, yeah, it is. It's beyond belief to believe we're the only beings, humanoid beings on this earth. Willow was talking about this too just a second ago. He said, I channeled, or I don't know if you're male or female, Willow. Sorry for saying he if you're a she. Willow said, I channeled that we are the infinite growth, seeding the remembrance, that we are the form, the new beginning to the old end. Thank you for being with us today. Well, thank you for being with us, Willow.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Oh, okay. And Willow is a she. Sorry. And thank you for fixing that. And then Cheryl said, I think most people believe that there is intelligent life outside our tiny little earth. They just don't believe what's coming. Yeah, I believe something. And love is law, not a feeling. That's funny. Thelema is a practice that Aleister Crowley had made. It's a magical practice, but magical practices are really kind of boiled down to forms of structured meditation and viewing exercises like we're doing with our journals and stuff. So in his book, Thelema and his practices, he writes, love is the law, love is the way. So you know how everybody thought Aleister Crowley was like this? He played the part. He played the big Satanist part, but his law was love. And if you study most of Crowley's work, what you get to is a man who took on that persona to rebel against his super religious father. And Aleister Crowley he was bisexual, and his father was super Christian and against all that. So underlining most of Aleister Crowley's work was a hidden inner turmoil against his father's persecution of his bisexuality, and that's what led to his drug problem. But his magical practices broke down to exactly what you said right there. Love is the law, love is the way.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I agree with that. Would you be willing to pull a card?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I have one for us. I have the commitment card from the Shaman Oracle. I don't know if you can see it very well,
We can
but
see it. So what's the commitment? Commitment to what? Self, universe?
it says, I become sovereign of my destiny. And it's about a healer holding a sacred pipe and asks, the creation is expanding and allows us to express the strongest and most powerful versions of ourselves. Do you choose to be sovereign who reigns over his destiny? That's the question that asks. So, this card commitment is about making a commitment to self to become sovereign. And what sovereign means is self ruled. Whereas in the past we were told what to do, now our intuition is in lead. This is where the Aquarian age is leading to. Spirit is within. Are you ready to commit to that?
Well, it's a matter of decision. That's where you get to play the the uh, the choice. The power of decision is your choice. If you decide not to, that's your choice. If you decide to, that's your choice. So, which one are you um, going to allow, or which one are you contemplating to dedicate yourself to?
Right? I know for myself, I've always had a rebellious streak. So, like, if people told me this is what you have to do, I went and did the exact opposite. So, for
It
me,
must be the star seeds that we all are, because I grew up the same way, and I think I laugh because my mom says, "Oh my gosh, why do you even ask me questions? Because if I say one thing, you totally do the opposite." And I said, "Well, that's just because it's my human design. That's who I am. That's
right?
who I am." And so, yeah, I don't apologize for any of that either. Yeah,
No,
you too.
We shouldn't have to apologize because you know what? It carved and it made us the people we are today. And I think that's pretty damn good who we are today. We're
Yeah, and I
built
really
by,
there's a lot of people that are waking up and remembering.
yeah,
Somebody mentioned remembering. It's remembering that we something we forgot. And something I'm telling myself that is we're remembering, we're here on a mission. I know we're here to experience this for the soul and going back and I can take all of those layers with me into the next adventure. But right now is the time now. And that nowness, present, this presentness of now is the activation point. It is where amazing things happen in that silence, in that presence, in that awareness of allowing and knowing I'm not alone. I'm not alone, man. No
right.
way.
And
Yeah.
you know, that's the most important is being in that present now because we're always being either pushed or pulled in the future or in the past. And that's or one way or the other. And that's where I'm always like, that's where my rebellious nature comes in too. It's like, nope, I'm a Cancer. So when I'm pushed or pulled in a direction, I will sit like a rock or a boulder rather, and I won't move. And it's just a part of my nature. I can't change that instinct about me. I love my friends used to call me Saturn when I was they're like that's kind of why when I was doing astrology I had Saturn put on there. They're like, you're as stubborn as Saturn. You won't move or budge for anything. Nope. No, I won't. Because it
Well,
does.
that
We learn, huh?
wouldn't it be something like a sense of conviction?
What's that?
When they say you won't move, you're stubborn like Saturn, I look at it as a conviction,
Yeah, I'm going
like
to be.
a conviction within self, a conviction or a dedication or sovereignty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if we're being pushed and pulled in different directions, we're never being ourselves. We're never tapping into that truth. And yesterday's card, Buddha was talking about a lot about this too, about the push pull directions, about how you can't truly, what was it, letting go. Let me see, it was letting go. And they used a lot of parables like Buddhism does, like if you lost everything to a storm, right, and then you rebuild and you've got your business back and you're flourishing, but you're still fearful and scared and planning about that storm, you're reliving that storm over and over and over again. And the practice of being present is to just let things go. Yesterday, I know you were connected in on it too. Yesterday was a really big topic about abuses in the past and how letting them go and forgiving them is actually not to condone what happened, but to allow yourself to be here so you're not reliving those moments. And in that right here, right now is where we can connect to these aliens, spiritual practice, ourselves, even just our enjoying our life, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah. The it's just interesting how the little messages, um, if when people are watching this, I hope they allow themselves to start opening up and paying attention. And I know there are so many people that see 111, 222. They're seeing the different signs. They even now have books to help you with the signs. But when you're quiet and you're paying attention, all of a sudden that's where you can help your friends because they're not in it. When you're in the mucky muck, you're like, they can't see, literally, you cannot see and tune in. It's static. They're still at the static part of their dial in the radio. But as friends, we can see, well, this is what I'm seeing. this is what this is a reoccurrence, and it's um, I know Katie calls it medicine, but sometimes the medicine doesn't taste good. But a true friend, I really, really like when my friends don't judge, they just share their observation.
Right.
So I do like that part of it. The the abuse, I mean, I don't know anybody who grew up without abuse, with physical, psychological. Um, yeah, it's something that I definitely don't want to carry in my knapsack anymore.
Right.
I so I have so much that I want to show light on, to put the spotlight on, and
Yeah.
not that. So I visit when it comes up, I allow my body to just say, oh boy, with a gratitude. I'm so grateful I'm not at that time. I've come on my timeline or the scroll of my life,
Yeah.
where I don't, that part is already gone.
Right.
And now I just imagine that the scroll keeps unfolding, and it's a lot of what I'm deciding that I'm going to allow. Now, was I a participant? Yes. Did I know any better? To the
No.
degree. But like I told you before, I was so hungry to be loved. I was willing to sell out my soul, or to sell out even my essence. And I didn't know my essence at 18 and 19. I didn't know it at 27. But
Right.
now I'm because of going into this shadow, I've realized I am a beloved of this amazing universe, and it's helped me to see people differently. Whereas like when I see horrific things happen on the news or hear stories, right away I go to what the cause is. What caused that human being to um, believe that that's how to handle the situation? Now, I know there's a lot of mental, chemical distractions in the mind that can bring that off balance. But however, it's allowed me to see that they too are a beloved
Yeah.
of the universe, and what they're doing is horrific. It's unfathomable in our minds because our minds don't work like that.
Yeah.
However, something, their need is not getting met. Something is telling me there's a cause. Now, do I want to sit there and spend hours of my day figuring that out?
No.
Nope, ain't my job. But I do focus on what I do know that I can do, and that is just keep emulating love,
Yeah.
that dissolves everything. I don't know if it'll happen in 100 years, but I know that collectively, when we radiate all that, it helps get rid of those abusers,
Yeah.
but yet it allows us to stand um, united, whether you're man, woman, or child. Um, Together, we can just create communities, intentional communities of love, and just somehow it's going to be like that old movie, The Butterfly Effect.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know how you said like looking for the underlying cause of these things, right? It's really once you're aware of that too. There's a book you might like. It's by Carl Jung, and it's psychosexual studies or psychosexual behavior. Anyways, it describes how everything, every reaction, every behavior and personal traits stems from when they were babies. Like, for instance, a person could have terrible traumas over loud noises because in their infancy, a balloon was popped near them and they were a baby and they screamed, right? We don't realize that as parents. We don't realize the after effects that that long-term seed has been planted in those babies, and they grow up, and those could be like triggers to where sometimes somebody could literally have PTSD from something they've never even been a part of a violent crime, but a balloon popped in their infancy and that triggers them to go wild. So I learned a lot about the psychological mind when I was in my shadows, because what I had learned at a time when I really dove deep into my shadow, I learned that you do not open up your shadows or your fears or your trust to too many people, because it would be used against you. So I started to study neuroscience, I started to study psychological behaviors, disorders of the mind, and I started to realize that underlying pattern over every behavior, to where it's not so much a chemical imbalance. The chemical imbalance is just how they sell medications. It is literally a societal problem. And if you study sociology matched with all of these psychology, disorders of the mind, neuroscience, cognitive behavior, you'll understand that society implants waves and waves of influence to be like the norm. So you can notice this, like if you look back when social anxiety became a thing, right? They were selling Paxil. And on television, the commercial for Paxil used to come on, and it was like implanting subliminals into people's minds. Do you feel uh do you feel nervous in crowds? Do you think that everybody's looking at, and dumb people used to watch TV and be like, yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Well, you may have, and they'll put these waves of influence out there, and their answer is, go buy Paxil. Ask your doctor to recommend it. And this is how society gets these ways. And once you know, you can't unknow. And then you see these things, and you see people like, oh, well, I'm bipolar. I'm bipolar, and that's the excuse for my terrible behavior. And no, it's not. It's a societal implant that you're reacting from because you haven't taken responsibility to dive in your shadow and unpick the weeds that were planted in there. Hang on a second. What is Willow? If we hold on our own high frequency, then I think it's hard to hide suffering when it is shown and seen in the light. We are getting brighter as we awaken and hold our own divinity and inner fire. Absolutely. It does. Like, to say that suffering doesn't exist is a form of toxic positivity, but to embody our own light, because I know this is going to sound like a catch 22. To embody our own light is to know that we've been through the shadow, to know that that's where we found that. And when you come out of it, it is apparently obvious that the world has a lot of self-induced suffering. And I can't say it enough. The only ways of suffering are self-induced. We ask for it. I remember back in the days, like everything that I suffered from, I told myself was my problem. And I see that in our society today. Well, this is why this and that and that. Well, here we go. You're still holding on tightly to that storm that happened when it's
Mhm.
time to live right now. But
Yeah.
what does she say? We are getting brighter as we awaken and hold our own divinity. Absolutely. So that, I think, is the cure. We shine the light. That's where I was getting to in that. In my darkness, diving through all those psychological studies and becoming aware, I learned that the only way to actually make a difference is embody the change. Like, people are yelling, screaming in my face, and I'm just smiling, you know. People were taunting or testing, projecting out their terrible insecurities, and I'm like, look at the butterflies. fuck it, if I had to play a ditz, I had to play a ditz to embody the light, because over time, the longer and longer I kept embodying that light, people who were projecting onto me turned and became their own light, because they saw, hey, you know what? This guy would have busted my nose in the past, but he is literally embodying the light. There's something here to this. So thank you for that, Willow. Thank you. And sorry for
You,
that long turn around a short corner, but that's what I do.
yeah, that was
So what do
uh,
you say? You want to pull a card, Jamie?
oh, sure.
All
I
right.
brought another deck too. It's called Cosmic, and since we were talking about the star seeds, I think you did that on one of your reads the other Sunday. I thought, oh, it keeps coming up. This is called from Nari Anastaria. It's kind of fun. They're activation cards. So since today is the new moon, I thought it'd be kind of fun to see what comes up. And so what comes up, what seeds shall we, let's just ask, what seeds shall we pull up for today's seed planting on this new moon, October 21st, 2025. And let's see. Shuffling, shuffling, shuffling. They're kind of big.
I
Oh,
know big decks can be a pain to heart, a little bit hard to deal with.
oh, are you ready?
Yeah.
I love it. Um, patience.
Nice. Oh, that's a pretty card.
We are planting patience. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. And apropos, because our patience with ourselves and the collective, it's this card number 25. Oh, I like that. Is because with our patience, more things grow out of it. Patience is surrendering to the now and allowing destiny to unfold at its own pace. If this card comes to you, slow down and
Yeah.
enjoy the presence of this moment. Although you may have the passion and the drive to reach for the moon, you are being asked to take things slower and feel the magic of each step. Ooh, I mean, that's just like mindful. I like that.
Yeah.
Each step holds lessons that bring you closer to the divine in you. And I'm going to add as you.
Yes.
Um, by being too hasty with an attitude of needing your dreams and goals yesterday, you will miss the vital life-changing moments that are meant to enhance, enrich, and transform your soul. So when you overlook or dismiss the lessons of each step and race frantically forward, the end result may not always be as you planned. So there again, you don't want to dig up those seeds
Uh-uh.
that we're planting. Let's see. With each steps, our lesson is strength, wisdom, compassion, understanding, patience will allow your soul to grow. So wow, that's kind of cool. It's almost like as if we're planting our own patience seed, but yet we're planting something within ourselves. I like that.
Yeah.
Just take one step at a time is what it says, and it's associated with the chakra, the solar plex and the heart, which I thought. So when we meditate, we can focus on those two things. And when that old saying, take 3 breaths, but again, we can just soften ourselves into just breathing out patience right into that area. The affirmation: I am patient, grateful for the wonderful opportunities that present themselves for me for the growth and enrichment of my soul. Wow,
Nice.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fun.
You know, it's a good patience practice too, is especially I learned this too, is patience in conversations can be to learn to teach ourselves to not be preparing what we're going to say as soon as the person's finished and learn to just listen. I actually was a little guilty of that as you were reading. I had something that like hit my mind and I'm like, "Oh, no wait. Listen, listen." So that awareness right there can actually breed good patience in a person. I do it a lot, cuz it's human nature. We hear people talking and we're already creating what we're going to say and that creation shadows over whatever you hear. So that's good practice for that.
I have a question. Why do you always look at the bottom of the deck? Because I haven't looked at it yet, but can you tell us why you do that?
It's usually an unconscious message. So it'll be the card that you pull tells you what's the light of the situation, and the bottom of the deck is what's hidden, like what is unknown. So what do you got?
Um, oh, celebration.
Nice. And look at that, looks like a seed.
Yes, isn't that awesome? And what's coming out of the seed?
The most beautiful flower with a glowing pistil in the middle.
Yeah. So there we go. We don't even have to read that. I was just wondering. So on the bottom of the deck is the unconscious, the hidden message.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
No,
That's lovely.
that's been coming up so much in so many of my readings. It's like it it started when it started coming up. It's like, oh, just relax, kick back. It's already done. Celebrations coming, good times. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But it's become such a theme over the past 6 months, I think, that I'm really starting to see that I can just let go. The world's going crazy. Everybody's like, food's this and cost of living that, and I'm going, yeah, I don't know. I have this innate feeling that it's all going to be all right. And that can bother some people cuz they're still stuck in that I'm still holding the storm. It's like, okay, well, as far as I know, the aliens and what I believe God to be is telling me, don't worry. It's going to be all right.
I like that. I like that. And, yeah, have to come up with something that helps people to let go of the storm.
Yeah, like I've passed on sharing messages of like oracle cards and stuff. I've passed this tradition on to other people in my family and friends, and it does help them see a brighter side. But anything you can do that can bring your attention to just look for a brighter day. It's raining outside. Okay, then paint a picture or draw a picture of the sunshine and rainbows and flowers. Because changing that mindset is what really breaks it down to.
But
Um,
I agree with Cheryl. Cheryl is saying that we need to go through the storm to find the calm sea and the beautiful paradise. This is so true.
yeah,
With every storm, there is, like everything gets washed. There's a shower. However, there are people that don't realize that they are addicted to being in the storm. They're
yeah,
addicted to the chaos. They're addicted to that zone because I'm telling myself it's become comfortable for them.
yeah.
So that's why I don't have an answer to letting it go, but just the peripheral of practicing to let go um, is is a baby step. It's a baby step to let go of what do you mean I can actually live a life of calm, peace, and freedom? What do you mean? What do you mean? Tell me more. But those who don't have ears will never hear in this lifetime.
No.
They will not. they're not equipped for it in this lifetime. So that is why Willow had said, we just keep vibrating at our higher frequency. This allows those, it's almost like another kind of a storm, a love storm, if you will, a frequency movement where it pulls people up.
Yeah, exactly. Cheryl says some people aren't meant to let go on this journey. We can only give them the tools to find their own. Well, yeah, because the Matrix, and I'm just going to say it as the Matrix banks on addiction. You could be addicted to your past traumas, like you were just talking about, addicted to drama, addicted to social media, addicted to television, addicted to people liking you. And giving people the tools is one thing, but what Jamie's talking about is we've went through the storm. Because honestly, I came back from addiction. The only way I got through this storm was being at such a terrible low. I said, you know what? This can't go on. I don't care. And I literally said it like this: I don't care if where I'm going leads to my death. I'm going this direction. And I threw everything that was holding me down to the side. And I said, figure yourself out. All of the problems in the world. You guys need to figure it out, because right now I got to figure me out. And that's the best tool I could give anybody. Like, I teach people about how to use the runes, right? Well, in the truth, the runes are a family tradition passed down to me by my grandfather to walk back from your lowest low and find yourself. The actual rune journey, you go through all these different steps of shadow work and change, shadow work and change, shadow work and change. And at the end, you find yourself in a light, positive way. So it's literally that can be the number one step. I kind of got lost, to be honest with you. My brain went doo doo doo. Finding yourself out of the darkness. Finding yourself out of the darkness is to find anything. Put all that other crap to the side. Last year this happened, and it's hurting me again. Okay, well, where is that storm? Is that storm in your hand right now? No. So where are you living? Oh shit, I'm living last year's memory. It doesn't
Mm,
exist anymore.
great
So
point.
yeah, so that's the best I can go with that. Sorry, I got a little lost.
No, 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 that's a good point. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So before we wrap it up, are you pulling up one more card?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull some Archangel tarot cards. All right, let's see
I'm
what.
still really comfortable with tarot. I like the oracle cards. Um,
Well, you know what's
they
me
seem
with,
to be louder for now, just
yeah,
for now.
with me, I'm starting to get to a. I go through this, like I'll go through phases where it's like you know the tarot so well that you just kind of want to put tarot to the side and do things off of imagination at some point. And
Mm,
or you want different perspectives, because the hero's journey, when you know the tarot, like the traditional tarot, you know the hero's journey. When you know the hero's journey, every book, story, movie, song, thing, everything in life is predictable and comes mundane. So that Cheryl gave me these cards. They've got little sayings on them. They make things different, spice it up a little. And I've been working a lot with oracle cards lately, just because tarot has gotten to that every single day is the same. And I'll come back. So here we go. We've got two of Michael. It will all be better if you just make a decision. Over analyzing a problem, and it's time to find a compromise. Number one. So this is the Two of Swords, and it's saying that to whoever watches this right now in this moment, You're bouncing a decision back and forth in your mind. And what you don't realize is it's blocking you from actually existing. So it's time to just say, if you have to flip a coin, there's only two sides to a coin. Dedicate or commit to that answer. If it lands on tails, it's a no. If it lands on heads, it's a yes. Make that decision. And then we've got Knight of Raphael, romantic drama, poetic, introspective, committed romantic relationships, being swept off your feet, situations or topics that make your heart flutter. So I'm gathering that you're having a decision about an offer, a romantic offer that somebody has sent to you, and you're like, I don't know, what should I do? Which way should I go, George? I don't know. Follow your heart. Follow your heart in this matter because your heart is telling the right journey. And then to wrap it up, we've got the star card. Archangel Jophiel. A dream come true. Believe in yourself. It's the end of a difficult situation. So this card is about hope, healing, and renewal, right? So in the hero's journey, the fool comes to the star card when he's like lost. He's like, oh my God, my ego has been shattered. The world isn't what I believed it to be. I've met the devil and it's myself. And that broke down everything I once thought. Life is over. And then he sees a beautiful maiden in the distance, and she's like, cheer up, mate, come on over here, have some hope. So with all three of these cards, it's telling me you're juggling a decision over a romantic offer that is your new light. It's your newfound inspiration. And Knight of Ariel on the bottom, Knight of Pentacles, trustworthy, understanding, devoted, and funny. There is so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, being watched over by someone kind. So this information, your decision, your pondering, is about a very trustworthy person who is responsible. So stop juggling in your mind and go with your heart. This is the way to go.
Wow, aho.
Oh,
Thank you. That's so kind. Your words are so beautiful, Willow.
yeah. What did she say? You two are one share.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Willow. But what did Cheryl say? Some people. Oh, we've already went through what Cheryl said. Yeah, give them the tools. So, Willow, if that message was for you, this is the right person for you. All right.
Oh, and it doesn't have to be a person also because there are going to be other people that tune in. And I'm thinking too, like for myself, they spoke loud because I have a situation with all kinds of, like I wrote in the journal this morning, all kinds of irons that are glowing right now in the fire. Um, thank you, because I was just like, oh, so it doesn't even have to be a right person. It just has to, these ideas, just be patient. Remember, we pulled patience and then we all get to celebrate afterwards when it breaks up through the ground. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because it doesn't have to be a person. Basically, that was just how the tarot story goes, but that could unfold in a job. That could
Yes.
unfold in a new direction. I'm going to move here, a new car. Hell, you want to buy new clothes and change your. Yeah, that's the way to go. Hey, what if that message was for me, Odin? Well, if it was for you, like we said, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be an opportunity. It could be starting a new stock fund or hedge fund or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's the right decision. It's a trustworthy decision to be made.
But being patient, be patient because the
Yeah,
cars, both sides didn't lie. These are the other side speaking right now. And so just be patient because afterwards the celebration shall shall be it. We shall see the big pistol in the glorious flower.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's kind of why I'm going to back to oracles and leading tarot, because once you get locked into this story, you can only really read tarot in the story where it's like, oh, this is a decision of a romance and it's beautiful, but it's not. It's so unfolding. Like you said, the other side talks to me. I That's why I like to let them jump out. It's not me choosing this card, it's literally, I believe it's how I interact with the fourth dimension. And because when I meditate, or even when I'm just alone in my own presence, I don't have to have cards, I don't have to have runes, and I can just feel, hear, see, sense, and know all of these intergalactic, interdimensional, spiritual, high vibrational, everything beings are around me. But on our normal life, we have to slow back down to density, which means actually it's kind of reversed. When we slow down to density, we pick up our mental activity here in the 3D. Whereas when we raise our vibration, we slow our mind and body, and that in speeds up our souls. Anyways, it's beautiful. We are always in the presence of other dimensional beings, and it's impossible to try to explain it all, but that was a little bit of it.
That's what Willow says. No, not a person, just my higher self. She's been kicking my ass, laughing out loud. Yeah, that I just invite that um, take that moment, Willow, and just if the opportunity comes up, and just sit, and just allow that that clinch
Yeah,
of you know and that's where we practice. And so I'm visualizing you just clinching, but yet just to let it go, just for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, any time of the day. It's just a moment of just breathing, and even right now, just watching this, and just saying, wow, patient patience will bring the celebration. The storm shall be released, and that calm sovereignty is in there. You already know it is. So, yeah,
practice
that's what I.
yoga. Practice yoga. It's all about tension and release. And the I haven't practiced yoga in a long time, but maybe I should practice yoga, take my own advice, because that, when I used to do it, was the most healing, cleansing feeling after you let go of a tense hold that you were holding for so long. Um, Maybe it was a specific type of yoga I was doing, because I know not all yoga is about that, but I don't remember. It was out of a book. And you would clench and hold really tight and tense and firm while you're breathing. And you're holding this for so many minutes or seconds. And then that is yeah, yoga. Try practicing yoga, Willow. That could help you with that. So, anyways, I'm rambling on. I digress. Thank you again, Jamie. And thank you, everybody who tunes in. And to anyone who will watch this in the future, I hope between our conversations, some kind of message has come to you. Maybe a decision that you're battling. It's calling for patience, but it's also telling you that have a little patience with the decision you make. So, this is important. Once you flip that coin, don't expect your magic to be Sabrina the Teenage Witch and it appear like that. Flip that coin, make that decision, then allow some time for the universe to recoil. Always think of your manifestations as a shot, like a slingshot. Just as you pull back before the releasal, so too does the universe have to receive and send back. So that's your message for today, and I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you, Jamie, for such a lovely interview again.
No, it was helpful for me, so thank you.
Of course, of course. I'm glad. All right, everybody. Well, and take care. Thank you, Cheryl and Willow and the other people who came in the chat, or they didn't come in chat. They just came in to watch. Thank you for your time, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.
Wait, and one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
If you know someone that is struggling with a decision or is struggling with their own storm, share this with them. Because I know when you can comment later, and I know John Odin reaches out afterwards when he sees the comments. So if you know anyone that this brings to mind, share it with them privately. Just share it with them, and I know that because John's really good about getting back to people when they comment. So anyway, thank you.
And she also let me remind to also thank our sponsors. We have Cheryl Fuchs with the Natural Closet. We have Anura Labs with healthcare and metaphysical practices. Stargate Sound Medicine, great sound baths and frequency healing. And there was one, oh, and shamangraywolf.com, www.shamangraywolf.com. So thank you to all of our sponsors who make this helpful and possible. And send this around, like she said. Another thing I would like to have you send to other people is help lift people up instead of tearing down. You see someone struggling in a situation that you once were in, give them any offer of kind advice you can. Don't join the ridicule group where you're like projecting negativity. It is good to help your fellow friends, family, or even neighbors in some way. If you can raise their positivity that one moment, you might have changed their entire life. You never know. So take that with you, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Good day. Hello. Thank you so much. All right, Jamie. Take care. Bye bye. And